What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about the top 5 most heavily shorted stocks in the market as of right now. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. Starting off with stock number 5, that is ticker AEMD. So over this last 1 year, it is down 84.15%. In 2024, down 72.64%. This is what they do, so you can always pause it and read through it. It is based out of San Diego, California. And plus, on a side note, I'll start bringing this up in future videos. This is the current ownership and the breakdown. So it looks like the majority of the float is held by public and or other aka retail. So this is definitely a very primarily held retail stock. Looking right here, it is on the threshold list. On Friday, shorts did return 1.23 million shares. 55.07% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 4.97 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 120.06. Kind of opposite extremes. You do have a broker only charging 8.6, so very, very low. Then you have one broker very high at 359.31%. So kind of interesting. Utilization 95.17, and then short score, something to kind of pay attention to. So the harder the number, the harder the likelihood of a squeeze happening, and that is 81.84%. Just to quickly pop over to IBKR, does indicate right now around 10,000 shares is available, and this is how much they charge. IBKR is always kind of somewhat in the middle ground there. So this is stock number 5. Let me know your thoughts, and on a side note, if there's any stocks that I do bring up that you currently own, then give yourself a shout out. Moving on to stock number 4, Arca Biopharma, tickers ABIO. On Friday alone, it went up 7.36%. Over this last 1 year, down 66.67%. And in 2024, it did go up so far 105.88%. So definitely not like a typical squeeze stock, because normally for a squeeze stock, the stock isn't always doing all that great. But this is the company profile. So biotech, 4 employees out of Westminster. This right down here is the current ownership. So kind of looks like hedge funds do own majority of this, 59.8%. So this is probably why you do have that good stock performance based on that. But at the same time, it is being shorted. So obviously not all institutions and hedge funds are in agreement based on this, but right now 81.89% of the free floats being shorted. On Friday, shorts only didn't do all that much, pretty much flat, only 316 by the net end. 4 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization is 98.1%, short score 84.15, and then cost to borrow average is 227%. And once again, you're kind of having polar opposites, so kind of low, so 100 for the low, 269 for the high. So this is stock number 4. Moving on to stock number 3, so that is CNS Pharmaceuticals, ticker CNSP. Friday alone, it went down 7.04%. Over this last 1 year, down 98.26, and in 2024, down 96.88. This is obviously how a normal heavily shorted stock does go based on stock performance or whatever else. So like I said, the last one I just talked on is very irregular, but looking right here, this is the company profile. So pharmaceutical, 4 employees based out of Houston. The ownership is right here. So it looks like it's primarily held by obviously retail. And like I said, there's always a very strong correlation between primarily held retail stocks and clearly hedge funds. But right now, 91.9% of the free float's being shorted. It is on this threshold list as well. Utilization 99.88, short score is 80.01. And as of right now, 199.19 thousand shares overall are being shorted. And then cost to borrow average is 57.54%. Just want to bring one thing to your attention. As I've done in the past, shares on loan 62,000 versus right now being shorted 199,000. So very clear indication that there is naked shorting happening because there's more shares being shorted than on loan. So something doesn't add up when it comes down to that. The math isn't mathing. Just want to give you a breakdown as well, just looking right here. So the free float is around 216,000. So essentially there's more shares being shorted than even what there is. And then you can kind of see these numbers right here. So the actual shares outstanding, 237.04 thousand, and goes over the average volume just so you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. But yeah, definitely this meets the criteria of 2024, a low float company that is being heavily shorted. And yeah, so this is a very interesting play. Moving on to stock number 2 though. So this is LICY Holdings, and ticker's LICY. Did go up 11.76 on Friday. On the 1 year chart, down 88.21. In 2024, it is up 9.65%. So doing relatively good for that. This is what they do. Company profile, so environmental and facility services, 384 employees based out of Toronto, Canada. And this is the current ownership breakdown. And obviously, actually, you know what? This one's somewhat even. It's a good breakdown. So public and other, 52.7. Individuals, insiders, about 20%. So that's always good to see. Institutions, 28.1%. But beside the point, I'm just bringing this up, not really analyzing it all that much, because the reason for this video is because it is heavily shorted. So 96.92% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 17.62 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average, you once again have polar opposites, 8.6 on the low, 363.72 thousand for the high, or I think I said thousand, my apologies, 363%. And then on the high end, 422%. Utilization, 88.5, and then short score, 98.74%. So very high stuff, and through IBKR as well, does show that there is 0 shares available. Actually, it looks like this one might be glitching, so probably revert back to the previous one. So around 20,000 shares is available to be shorted. So it's kind of a hard to borrow stock of sorts. And this is what IBKR does charge. So again, they're kind of the middle ground. Moving on to stock number 1. So this was actually number 1 last week as well, and that is ticker GDHG. So Golden Heaven Group Holdings. Friday didn't really do all that much, went down 0.55%. Over this last 1 year, down 96.1. In 2024, it is down 77.82%. This is what they do. Leisure facilities, 610 employees based out of China. And as I said in my video last week, this does meet the criteria of what 2024 likes to really squeeze. So low float companies, heavily shorted and based out of China. And this is the current breakdown right here of the ownership. So it does look like 47.62% is held by corporations, private corporations, and then 49.04 is held by individuals / insiders. So this is a very interesting breakdown all in all, but I did double check as well, just so you guys are aware. I did double check all of these companies to ensure that they haven't done any recent reverse stock splits, because if a company has done a recent reverse stock split in roughly about 2 weeks, then that does skew a lot of the data. So as you can kind of see, this company has not done any reverse stock splits ever in its history. On a side note though, if you're looking for a lot of good compiled information, such as want to know about their financials, why it went up, down, sideways, press releases, SEC filings, take a look at Seeking Alpha Premium for a 7-day free trial. Link in the description below and all the comments. But getting back to it, 102.06% of the free float is being shorted. Very high stuff. That does work out to be 1.76 million shares overall are being shorted. On Friday, shorts increased around 33,000 shares. Cost to borrow average is 15.41, and then utilization is 86.49. Through IBKR, does indicate around 550,000 shares is available to be shorted. So very interesting stuff all in all, and I just wanted to draw your attention. Shares on loan, 5.23 million shares. I can't read this morning clearly, but 5.23 million shares. Going back over here just to show you this right here. So the shares outstanding and then the free float. So the free float is 1.73 million. So there's 4x basically that is being loaned out that is available. So something, again, just does not add up. So let me know your thoughts on these top 5 stocks. Is there any other stocks that you feel could squeeze? And I was thinking about doing just a dedicated meme stock video tomorrow, and so that'll be released on Sunday, just to go over the top kind of 5, I'd say, most heavily shorted meme stocks. And again, that could be taken with a grain of salt on what is defined as a meme stock. But I was thinking about that because a lot of people want squeeze stocks, but I feel like a lot of these aren't really on people's radar. A lot of people rather just look at, for instance, GameStop, which has been very popular as of late. And then even like, for instance, AMC, like those types of stocks I would really bring up. Beyond Meat used to be, I'd say, a fairly big squeeze stock, but or like a meme stock, but as of late I feel like people kind of lost interest in it a little bit. But needless to say, stay tuned for that video, possibly coming out maybe tomorrow, or maybe I'll just roll it over into somewhere in the middle of the week. But regardless, hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.